How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.
Well, the Gujarat Titans have done it. They have prevailed over the Mumbai Indians yet again at Ahmedabad. It's a venue where MI just cannot seem to get points, and they are without points, having played 2, lost 2. The Titans pick up their first points of IPL 2025. We look back at a game that you could see the better side. You could clearly tell Gujarat Titans were up for this, and we asked the questions. Mumbai Indians batting and what else we can think of on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout with Cheteshwar Pujara and Wasim Jaffer. Gujarat and Mumbai together on that side of the couch. Dustin Silgardo on his own couch and his own high horse, saying in the mid-show that Mumbai will chase this down with the dew. But
the thing is, every single IPL game so far I've actually predicted correctly. It's just that I wasn't on the show, so it was just a matter of odds that I would get one wrong.
See, Wasim also hasn't been on our show. Today's his first day, and look
he must have predicted the other ones wrong.
You come here. They're so polite they won't even respond to that. But this was a great response by Gujarat Titans, Wasim, who dominated this game. By the end of it, MI were in it for some periods. But what a good performance by GT.
Yeah, they batted really well. I mean, even though they got 195, but I still felt they were 15 to 20 short.
Yeah.
They looked like getting more than that. But the way they came out and bowled, and how their spinners bowled, how their fast bowlers bowled, Mumbai only looked like in the game when Tilak and Surya were batting. Other than that, they were way behind. You know, they kind of left it too late. The top order didn't strike. The lower order were expected to do too much. So, yeah, completely outplayed by GT.
We're seeing now, Puji, bowling plans really be a big part of the opening 9-10 games. Today also, Rashid Khan, when has he ever not bowled his quota? But the seamers came with a plan today. What was that?
Look, GT had a clear game plan that they are going to operate with seamers. That's why Ishant came in. Washington didn't, he wasn't brought in as an impact player. So they knew that there'll be enough assistance for the seamers, even if it's not seam movement, but whenever they bowl cutters, we saw that ball was holding a bit. And I think, I don't know the number of cutters they bowled, but it was significantly higher from the Mumbai Indians side. So they knew the conditions really well. They had a clear game plan. And on that pitch, I thought 190 was more than enough. Mumbai didn't bowl well. I mean, Gujarat clearly outplayed them.
Yeah. In Mumbai, I would say that outplayed in all departments. They won the toss. It's another interesting thing is they could have batted first. I mean, we did say that, teams blindly opt to bowl first. On pitches like this where, you see that the ball's going to turn and it's going to get difficult in the second half, it's not a bad thing to bat first and put up a score and then defend. So, they're completely outplayed in all departments, I would say.
I wonder how long before teams and captains do it differently, because I think now it's not a bad toss to lose almost every other day. While we still are in the early days of the tournament. But yeah, we did see a lot of cutters today. They came with a plan. Dustin, what have you picked up?
They were about, I think actually, I was joking, but everything that Wasim and Cheteshwar said in the mid-show was pretty much right. That today even length balls from pacers were kind of working. Even length balls went for less than 7 and over because the pitch was doing something. And there were about 15 cutters that we recorded from the GT bowlers. And those went for less than 4.5 and over, slower balls. So slower balls were not going for runs at all. Very interesting thing, Prasidh obviously bowled a brilliant spell today. And I think the ball, Hawkeye had the ball that he bowled to Surya Kumar Yadav at less than 100 kilometers per hour even. So really slow. And then he went up to 145 also, one ball. So there was a huge variation in his pace going from 140s to less than 100.
Yeah. So his spell was very impressive because Prasidh is someone who always keeps on bowling that back of length or a good length. But it was very nice to see him varying his pace, bowling those cutters, which is not his strength, but he's developing that. And on that pitch, I think it's going to help him even in the rest of the games. But I'm very impressed with the way he's learning because he has a lot of potential. His action is unique. He has high arm action and he has the pace. I think he's one of the quickest in the side. And he bowled, it looked like he bowled better than Rabada. Obviously, Rabada was bowling up front. And
the Prasidh slow ball, you're right. It's not his strong suit. Many times, in fact, when he tries it, he floats it up and batters get under it and hit him. Have you faced enough of Prasidh, I'm sure. What's the special part of his pace-off delivery today, or was it just more to do with the surface?
it was more into the pitch, because whenever he bowls a slower delivery, most of the times it lands on good length spot where it's easier to pick it up. But now in this particular match, even if you look at the pitch map, that delivery is somewhere close to 6 to 8 meters. Normally it's between 5 to 6 meters, but he has changed that length, and that is more important, because whenever you are on such pitch, whenever you are bowling a slower delivery, you have to bowl into the pitch rather than just like when you are just leaving the ball. It's easier for batter to come underneath.
Very, very good game plans and captaincy by Gill also. I mean, Rashid Khan, there's a case to say he only went for 10.
Yeah.
Why do you think he didn't go to Rashid?
Well, I think they probably thought that fast bowlers are bowling well, and they just wanted to kill the game. Not saying that Rashid, would have been expensive, but
That's pretty impressive captaincy, because normally you would think that Rashid is my banker. I mean, how do I not bowl Rashid Khan 4 overs, especially when he started
another
well?
plus point that, you're winning so comprehensively without Rashid bowling 4 overs. So that is another, boxes tick for them.
I don't know if that was the plan from the start of the innings. Maybe in their head they thought, okay, Prasidh might bowl just 2 overs. But then with him bowling so well, it shows that Gill was willing to adapt. He saw, I think Prasidh also got some movement off the pitch, if I'm not wrong, right? There were a couple of balls to Hardik that looked like they
It nipped back in, and even Siraj got that moment early on. He got Rohit's wicket.
I think we'll talk about Siraj. He was up for it today. You can see it. You can see which Siraj has turned up today. What did you notice that was perhaps different about Siraj?
I think he's fired up again. There was a time where it looked like his body was tired, but now it looks like he's fresh and ready to go again. And see, he's someone who is quite emotional. So there are times where something doesn't go his way. He's always up for that battle.
Yeah, could it be a little bit of Champions Trophy?
Bowling to the Indian captain. Wasn't in the squad. A guy who has picked up most wickets in that period. So there's a reason for him to be charged up.
Yeah, it moved with the new ball. So this was a good pitch for the fast bowlers even from ball 1?
I think it was just probably, doing a little bit, with that, the pitch probably on the slower side, it just jagged back, and he bowls that, wobbles him quite a lot. So it was, and a perfect delivery after, going for a couple of fours in that over.
And the difference between the Mumbai Indians side and Gujarat's bowling lineup is Mumbai Indian bowlers, they don't bowl into the pitch, they try and swing the ball. This was a pitch where you need to bowl into the pitch, try and hit the seam, and then you get something out of it.
I mean, did they pick their best team also? I'm thinking for the bowlers. I'm going to come to the Mumbai batting, but without Bumrah now, it just looks like they'd really be praying he comes back next game itself. Before they, the bowling doesn't look like it has the variety, the range to strike in multiple phases. If Bolt doesn't strike with the new ball, which Bolt has had a quiet start since his return to MI. But are you concerned about Mumbai's bowling first? I'm just thinking on those lines first.
Yeah, I mean, well, before the season, I think everyone thought that they have a pretty strong bowling lineup.
Like better than last year. So they, by their own standards,
I mean, I guess
improved.
it depends on the pitch, right? Like maybe for this pitch, Bolt and Deepak Chahar were not the most ideal opening bowlers, because both of them pitch it up looking to swing it rather than hitting the pitch. Maybe on a pitch where there is some swing, they will come off. Hardik did bowl a good spell himself today with those short of length balls and cutters. In fact, I thought Hardik showed good control. I know now it's kind of irrelevant because they lost, but he showed good control even with the direction of the bouncers. But yeah, I mean, obviously...
Hardik, the bowler, was good. I'm thinking of Hardik, the captain. He didn't really bowl Santner more. He could have kept this... I mean, now we're thinking that at the halfway stage, 190 is a lot of runs on what was clearly not a flat pitch. This was a good pitch
I think
for
his
the
options
bowlers.
were, I thought Hardik's options were quite limited. If you don't have Jasprit Bumrah in that side, then that bowling unit doesn't look like a strong unit.
Interesting. What about Rohit Sharma and the MI batting? It's not uncommon though. Even when Rohit was at the peak of his powers, IPLs sometimes were not his favourite grounds. He'll win you the odd game of his own bat, but he was never a 600, 700 run banker like Virat Kohli is, or like other sort of prominent Indian batters have been. But at this stage of his career, this questions ought to be asked. This kind of pitch you would have wanted a Rohit to take responsibility, wouldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, at this point of time, the Mumbai Indians batting lineup looks like it's only about Surya and Tilak Verma. If they strike, they're going to win. Like I said, Ryan Rickelton is very new to the IPL. You'd probably expect too much, for him to, do well. Rohit Sharma is somebody you want, like you said, never had 500, 600 season. You want him to do that this season for them to come good. Otherwise, it's looking tough if Bumrah doesn't come early.
I mean, the selection also then comes in on the batting front. Today, they went a batter light in Will Jacks, and they played a specialist bowler in Mujib. You're using Robin Minns in a situation that's quite difficult, even though he's very highly rated. Did they miss a few tricks there, Puji?
They did, and look, now they will realize that they need to strengthen their batting lineup. But it is along with their bowling, because it's both aspect of the game where it looks like they are a bit fragile. The good part for Mumbai Indians will be they need to play on a better pitch. If they start playing home games, that's when they realize that what is the right balance for them. And on that pitch, if once they start playing on home pitches, even their bowlers will be a bit more effective. Their batters will gain a bit more confidence. And that's when I think the real Mumbai Indian teams will.
It does feel like this is a team they've picked for the Wankhede.
Yeah.
Where Bolt and Chahar might be a different threat, where Rickleton may actually enjoy
Batting.
the pace on the ball. So that is still perhaps we wait to see.
Yeah. And what did you guys make of Hardik's innings? Because he's ended up with just 11 of 17.
Yeah.
So, and he couldn't get going. He was trying, I think, it was not that he wasn't trying to hit shots. He was looking to attack, but that cutters, those short of length bowling, is that maybe a bit of a weakness for Hardik, or is it just one game, maybe he's a bit cold coming into the IPL?
I would say it's just one game, because this looked like a tough pitch to bat on. No one else was scoring runs. It wasn't that Hardik was the only one who was struggling. Even other batters, they were having a tough time. So it was a tough pitch to bat on.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen him work against. There was a time where oppositions used to target Pandya with that back of length off pace, because then he started, I think, reacting by slapping few more of those picking zones in the field. Just felt today, because of the pitch you're talking about, all the more reason that once the Surya Tilak partnership broke, it had to be Hardik next, not Robin Minj. I mean, poor guy is young. He's played 3 of 6. You know, that's an over that's taken out from the game when you need 15 on over. You want to give Hardik more time.
Yeah, we thought when we saw the 11, we thought, Hardik is going to promote himself at 5 and he's going to come. So I think that was his time to come in. And I thought even Sai Kishore also bowled well. He didn't give him anything in his arc. The fast bowlers bowled, slower balls in the right areas. And like Puji said, it wasn't an easy pitch to get away.
Do you think the Robin Minns decision was purely because he's left-handed? Because they knew that there's a left-arm spinner bowling, so they wanted, because Tilak got out. Was that maybe the reason that they said, let's send the lefty up?
That's the only reason I can think of. But otherwise, Hardik has to bat up the order. He should have more time at the crease. And once he gets the feel of the pitch, I mean, it was slightly on the slower side. So you need to allow yourself to play 5-7 balls. And that's when you can start going.
I mean, they clearly decided that Tilak is their 3. And it doesn't matter. So that time when Rickleton was batting, it didn't matter that there were 2 left-handers. So I don't know if they're going to look at Tilak at 3, which may not be a bad thing in Jax's absence. But 20 to think about for MI. Sai Kishore is not only a good bowler, he didn't give Hardik much with the ball, like you said, Wasim, but he gave Hardik something else. What was that, Dustin?
No, there was an incident where I think he was going to throw the ball to the keeper, but he didn't end up doing it. But Hardik just had some pleasantries for him, and then Sai Kishore decided to just stare back at Hardik.
So what did Hardik do? I missed it. I was on a call.
He was using, some colorful language. And it was, I don't know.
You're a seasoned writer, Dustin.
I was
Use colourful language.
I was lip syncing. I mean, I was just lip reading. So he may have been saying
buzz off.
Yeah, something along those lines. There was definitely an off in there. I could see the fur, the mouth, the way the.
Okay, the F's at the end you saw.
And there was a similar mouth shape at the beginning and end.
Okay, enough. This is not subtle anymore, Dustin. This is awful. Right, but so that's very interesting though, because Hardik responded, and then Sai Kishore didn't just. Walk down. Now, what do you know of Sai Kishore? Skillful bowler, but he's also got some fire in him.
He does. He has a lot of fire. I mean, not many people know that, because I've played a lot of cricket with him, against him. So he's very aggressive, and whenever he comes into bowl, he has that fire in him. Just being a spinner, he just doesn't walk into bowl. He knows that he's walking in to get a wicket. Right. So no matter where he is playing, whether he's playing a club game, whether he's playing for Tamil Nadu, whether he's playing for the franchise, he has that fire in him. And whether it's Hardik, for him the batter doesn't matter. Even if it was Virat there, Rohit there, he wouldn't have mind staring back at any other batter.
I don't mind it at all, because Hardik Pandya is a superstar. Sai Kishore is yet to make an international debut. So when a Hardik or a player of that stature tries to impose himself in the contest, it could react one way out of 2. Either okay, what have I done? I've angered Hardik Pandya, or I don't care if you're Hardik Pandya.
I think he knew what he was doing.
Right.
You know, and I think he spent a lot of time sitting in the dugout when Hardik was captain in GT. Could be one of those because he didn't get much game time. in
Jaffer
those
is in
years.
red hot form himself today. Huh? He's bringing in all the right anecdotes. Yeah. Have you ever been sledged by, or have you ever been at the receiving end of a Saikishore burst when all the
No,
time
we
you
get
played?
along, so I have not been on the receiving end, but yeah, I mean, whenever he's bowling, he will always sledge me that I'm trying,
Okay.
I'll get you out. That's the only sledge I have received. But he's a soft-spoken person, so he won't abuse or say any bad words.
In all seriousness, is there anything that crossed the line there on part of Hardik also, or all fine? Nothing that the referee needs to.
No, I don't think
Right up.
Sai Kishore said anything. I think he just.
What about Hardik?
Sai Kishore just became very fascinated with Hardik Pandya's face for a while and looked at it for a long period.
Very well.
What Hardik said wasn't picked up on the stump mic, so I guess there's probable cause for. there's probable cause for denial.
Okay, let's go. Viewer questions. As always, we welcome them at this point. Comments and questions to the panel. Right. Sheratan, if I pronounced that right. Can Gujarat look a really good team? They could go well and deep in the tournament because they. Sorry, let me read that again. There are a lot of different questions coming. Can Gujarat really do well as the tournament goes deeper? Because there's still a concern on batting depth. What do you think about that?
I think they are a playoff contender for me, for sure, because there's a lot of quality, whether with the bat, whether with the ball, and the brand of cricket they are playing, I feel they are definitely one of the top four for me.
Okay, Devang says there's been a constant casual approach in the MI team in the last few seasons. They start slowly, but now there are 10 teams and not 8. And it's difficult to make a comeback after a slow start. I think that's a very good point. Many times we talk about how MI starts slow and pick it up. But the IPL has gotten arguably more competitive, more difficult to win. So these slow starts can be costly, can't they? Puneet?
It can be, but I still feel, look, you can't rule Mumbai Indians out. They are a strong unit. They can make a comeback at any time. And there are some quality players there. It also, this season, I feel it also depends on what kind of pitches you are playing on. And this particular pitch didn't suit them. Their batters are not in form. They're missing Bumrah. But once Bumrah comes back, Hardik played his first game. And once Bumrah is back into that squad, it will be a different side altogether.
Yeah.
And the moment their Indian batters like Rohit, Surya, Tilak, if they start clicking, then it will look like a different side altogether.
You got to see what happens with the Wankhede. You just feel like that's so crucial for MI. Abhishek has a question to Dustin, sir.
Oh my
Dustin,
goodness.
sir, what is Namandir doing at number 7?
I have always been a big fan of Namandir.
and Abhishek
I
knows
feel-
that.
And I feel like he should have batted up the order, maybe come in place of Robin Wins even at number 5. But teams, as they said, I think there's too much overthinking of left-right partnership sometimes. So.
Okay, this is another one from Sheratan. Considering Mujib's form in recent years, they should have easily stuck with Vignesh Puttur, who had a very good game.
Yeah, I didn't understand that, the guy who bowled really well against CSK and he was made to sit out. So I wonder why Mujib didn't play the first game. So I didn't understand the thinking behind that.
Yeah. Hanish Singh, Reece Topley is also not in the team. He is an option. Actually, Topley, when we saw the auction squad, we saw, okay, maybe Topley's cover for bold. But actually, in non-Wankhede or non-swinging conditions, Topley is a more phase bowler. Isn't he a contender for a starting position? Reece Topley?
He is, especially on such pitches. But if you're playing at Wankhede, Trent could be a better option. But on such pitches where you need someone who can bowl into the pitch, and it's very tough to leave someone like Trent Bolt out of the squad because you want him when you're playing at Wankhede. So it's a tough call. I don't think they can make that change just in one game.
I think this is a lovely question. P.S. Gautam is saying, do you think Hardik the bowler would fancy bowling to Hardik the batsman?
I think he'd love it.
Yeah?
Yeah, those short balls, just,
yeah.
Nice cutters, making it hard, getting it outside the arc. But good question.
What else? Sumit wants to know if you're happy with Sudarshan at the top for Gujarat, or is the strike rate still a concern? Now, all things considered, today, it actually may not be such a bad inning. Sometimes we look at Sudarshan's strike rate and think, got to get a move on. But perhaps today, is he played all right?
Yeah, in the hindsight, you will say that he's done a great job. He's a quality player, whether he bats at the number 1 or 2 or number 3, he's going to do the job. He's a bankable player.
Do you think the way GT are set up, they should actually try to play on more pitches like this? If they can, tell the curators at Ahmedabad because they have batters who, like as they some of the questions are saying, there's not necessarily depth in the batting, but the top order is strong.
Yeah.
And you have players who can play these long innings. Do you think this kind of pitch suits them maybe?
It does, but it also depends on who the opposition is.
Yeah.
Here, if CSK was playing on such pitch, then they would have loved it. So
Yeah.
it also depends on which the opposition is.
The high skeptic is saying, and I think he's referring to the Hardik Sai Kishore incident, sporting banter is all right, but normalizing abuse isn't. I mean, the explicit used is a very common one used, but does it cross the line?
If it had been caught on stump mic, I think there might have been a penalty, because there has been a case where Rabada has said the same thing and been penalized. It's just that here, because it was just lip reading, you can't necessarily prove it. So that's why I don't think there'll be action.
Okay, SKM on Siraj repeatedly shining the ball with saliva. And we've touched upon this in the last Gujarat game, the Punjab Gujarat game. Varun Aaron made the point that it makes that little difference and you see some reverse. So let's extend on that. What SKM wants to know more from you guys on how saliva is used to maintain the ball in the shorter formats and whether it had an effect today.
Well, I think saliva makes the ball, shine a little bit better. The sweat probably makes it more heavier and the ball doesn't swing. That's why the bowlers like, even the fielders, for example, they like saliva. So I feel it does benefit the bowlers a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, we saw a bit of tail or reverse, whatever you want to call it, even in the first innings when Trent Bolt was bowling. So we're seeing those elements that we perhaps didn't see, Puji, in the last one or two IPLs.
And I feel it makes a huge difference.
Right.
Maybe shorter format, in a T20 format, it may not make a huge difference. But if you're talking about ODI cricket or Test cricket, it makes a massive difference. But even in this format, I feel that those little period after 10 overs, say maybe between to 15 to 20th over, that's the time where bowlers didn't have any chance, but now it looks like the ball starts tailing in a bit and they have better options. They can bowl that swinging Yorker. Even the pace of the ball changes when you apply the saliva on the ball.
Okay, Gamers is saying sending Minj as the impact player when you have Jacks in the dugout. Well, they couldn't send Jacks, unfortunately, because they named 4 overseas. So that was something they'll all have to consider. Hanish is saying until Bumrah's back, then they should really play Topley and Bolt together, which may not be the worst option. Till Bumrah's back, they might need one little more quality in their bowling.
I mean, it'll be a little bit tough on Mujib, but I mean, that's probably one way to go. Otherwise, with Trent Bolt and, Deepak Chahar, it's going to be very easy for the batters to, go after their bowling.
Yeah, that's where the difficulty is, that they don't have an Indian spinner, right? Because then they have to use their overseas spots on spinners, so they can't use it on a fast bowler.
Rickleton is a good batter, but maybe not yet. Especially on Indian pitches, how about Jacks for Rickleton? Then you need to play Minj because you need a keeper.
I think Rickleton is a quality player. Look, he needs time to settle in. He has done really well in last 1.5 to 2 years, even if you look at his record in the other leagues. And I feel that you need to give him that time. Once he starts playing at Wankhede, he will be a different player.
Yeah, Ashish saying Shubman Gill's a wonderful captain. His rotation of the bowlers today was top class. I think a good day today, Shubman Gill, did he?
Yeah, he's a very confident captain. I worked with him in Punjab and I could see that, he's pretty solid in his game plan and he's stuck with his players and he takes those decisions, which we see, how he's operated. Last year also I was impressed, even though they didn't qualify, but it was tough for him to replace Hardik Pandya and the GT of the first 2 years. It wasn't easy.
Yeah, I mean, he's growing and I like the way he's batting as well. I mean, he may not have got the big score today, but it looks like Shubman's up for this IPL.
And he's a confident player. And once he gets going, I mean, for him, I don't think his batting form will matter much when he's leading the team. But for a captain, if you start scoring runs, if you are contributing to the team, then it makes a difference. Yeah,
Ujjwal, I think I'll take this as the last one. Is there a lack of clarity on Namandir's role? Last year he batted at 3. Now he's batting way down in
He started at 3, but then he did move down the order last season itself.
They were missing someone last year at the start. I think Surya didn't start this
season. He played a few games at 3, but then I guess he moved down the order. He had a good 50, I think, from number 7. So he has played that finisher's role. But today, sending Robin Mins up didn't seem to make that much sense.
Yeah, I think personally it looks like Tilak at 3 is good. It's almost like Nicholas Pooran. Somehow, do you get the feeling that Tilak is actually their best batter on form? Today Surya got runs. There was some concern before the IPL. But Tilak may actually be the best batter, don't you think, Puji?
He will be. Going forward, I think the way he's batting, it looks like he will get close to 400, 500 figure.
Right.
If he continues batting like this. And look, he's a match winner. I feel he will play 1 or 2 innings where he will win match with
Of
his
his own
batting.
bat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, India have committed to
Yeah.
Tilak at 3, haven't they,
Yeah,
Wasim?
yeah, but I feel the other batters need to step up. Rohit, Rickelton, or even Will Jacks if they play him, and Surya. For them to come good, it's necessary for MI.
I
mean,
believe.
to be fair, today, considering the pitch, Surya did play a fairly good knock.
Yeah.
So
I'm very happy actually and quite surprised, but pleasantly surprised to tell you and inform you guys that Prasidh has been named player of the match. 2 for 18 of his 4. And that's really good because many times we look at the batters' innings. Yesterday I thought there was a case for Hazelwood and Patidar got it for his 51.
if you were the adjudicator, you would have picked Ishant Sharma, I'm sure. I'm surprised we've gone through the show without you.
You would have picked Namandir. Yeah. Stop it, Dustin. Yeah, I would have picked I like giving it to bowlers more, but sometimes all you see from a bowler is say 2 wickets. And sometimes, you think, okay, that's not all. A lot of bowlers have contributed, but who played like the best innings. But do you like that? Prasidh has played
I
the
think
match
and
today?
the 2 wickets that he picked up is Tilak Verma and Surya Kumar Yadav. Again, goes on to show he completely changed the dimension of the game after those 2 wickets.
Look,
Yeah.
I just have a comment on that because I always prefer bowlers to be the match winners. But on that pitch, on that occasion, I think Sai Sudarshan deserved to be man of the match because Prasidh, when he came into bowl, Mumbai Indians wasn't in the game. He bowled really well. He deserves the man of the match.
I know
I'm
what
not
you're saying.
taking it away, but I felt on that pitch, the batting was tough.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair comment.
On that point, Cricket for the MVP, which is chosen by using all sorts of different stats metrics, that is Sai Sudarshan. So,
Yeah.
at least the Cricket for MVP is Sai Sudarshan.
Yeah, I think yesterday the MVP was Hazelwood and the player of the match was Patidar. And today it's gone that way. Anyway, no problem. Batters win enough.
Yeah.
Anyways, poor Sai Sudarshan misses out today. I just want to go back to the Parthiv Patel comment that we discussed in the mid-show, where he said that we chose this pitch to play Mumbai Indians on, which confirms a couple of things. One, GT do have a say in their pitches, which is good in the IPL. But don't you sense that was also a big part of their planning and the overall result, that they were smart to play MI on this surface?
Well, if you spend so much money, you need to use your brain, and it shouldn't surprise anyone. But saying that, I mean, it would have been interesting if Shubman Gill would have won the toss. What he would have done,
Right.
Whether he would have batted first. Considering this pitch is going to play like this, so that would have been interesting.
So it got slower, you're saying, and as the game
and
went.
the batting became difficult, which Pujji said is going to happen. So that would have been interesting, but well done to them. They worked out really well. They sussed out the opposition. I mean, that's what you need to do anyway.
Yeah, because I'm trying to think, if this pitch was available, wouldn't the opening game against Punjab also, could they have played on similar kind of pitches in that sense? Because they played on absolute belter that day.
Yeah.
And I don't know
And
what the
going forward, I
thinking
think
was.
that their thought process will change. They might end up playing more matches on such pitches where they know that now their batters are batting well, their bowlers are also bowling well on this pitch. So they will continue playing on such pitches.
Okay, I like it. I like that Parthiv tells us these things also. That gives us so much clarity. Because they don't tell us much only these days. Right, next assignments. They've got a few days off, Gujarat Titans. They will play RCB at the Chinnaswamy on Wednesday. So that will be a fun game. Mumbai Indians have to quick turnaround. They had a week off, but they now will fly back home tomorrow and play KKR, which is a huge game. First one at the Wankhede for both those two teams. KKR off a win now. Mumbai 2 losses out of 2. It's time, I think, we'll start building points tables from tomorrow. As it stands, I think RCB are top and MI are right at the bottom with RR. Who have a big game against CSK tomorrow. It's time for a rapid fire review, gentlemen. Wasim, you know how this works, but just to remind everyone, quick fire responses to the questions that I will throw at you. Let's go. Do these first 2 batting efforts pose any serious concerns for Mumbai Indians, Pujara?
Yes and no, because there is a bit of a concern, but I think they will rectify it very quickly.
Okay, Wasim, why was Prasidh Krishna so hard to hit for even Surya and Hardik?
I think the kind of length that he bowls and the height that he bowls, and the pitch wasn't, the ball wasn't coming on quickly, so it made it even more difficult.
Dustin, did the call to leave out Vignesh Puttur end up hurting Mumbai?
Difficult to say because Mujib did take a pretty big wicket, so it's not like Mujib didn't do well. But maybe they could have. I mean, I don't think it made that much of a difference, to be honest.
All right, Puji, what did Siraj get right tonight after leaking 54 against Punjab in the previous game?
One is pitch helped him, but at the same time, he had the fire in him. He bowled the right length. He pulled into the pitch, and there was a bit of help for him. And his balls were also deviating. But most importantly, he was charging in. He was charged up for this game.
Wasim, on Tilak Verma, after starting so well, does he get stuck sometimes, in your opinion? Why couldn't he bail out the situation today?
Well, I think that's going to happen in a 20-over game. The kind of runs you get in the power play, you're not going to get after 6 overs. So you will have that phase, and the pitch also posed a little bit difficulty.
All right, finally, Dustin, does the black soil pitch at Ahmedabad suit Gujarat better than the red soil one?
Well, that's what I've been saying. That I think, but I think Puji made a very good point. It really depends on the opposition. There are some teams that you would want a flat track because they actually have a good balance side Gujarat. So I think they'll do well on different pitches.
All right. Well, I'm just trying to see if when they play the Sunrisers. That's in May. So we'll see what happens on that day. For now, it's a couple
Then
of
they'll have
games
no pitch
on the road. I mean, Sunrisers aren't invincible. Lucknow have shown us, plan well, and you can beat them in their own den. That's why you love the IPL. Wasim Jaffer, thank you so much. I'm going to be seeing you next week now. So on behalf of all of us, Eid Mubarak and have a terrific time at home. And please get me something. Keep it in the fridge for a few days. And get it for me when you're here next week. Puji, I will see you tomorrow. Double-header action. Dustin, what a start, man.
Yeah, I'm
you
seeing
got
you
most
Monday.
things wrong, but you still covered yourself in glory. Yeah. Well done. Dustin, always a pleasure. Senior editor Dustin Silgardo. Wasim Jaffer, Cheteshwar Pujara to unwrap this game. Tomorrow we got double-header cricket for you. We got Sunrisers in Delhi in the afternoon. Hugely important game for Rajasthan Royals and Chennai Super Kings in Guwahati in the evening build-up. Just before the toss of the afternoon fixture on Maruti Suzuki Arena presents ESPN Cricket for Timeout. So join us then. Good night.
How do I do it all? The Brezza gives me the power.